Thank you so much for coming today. We wanted to bring everyone here today to talk about some of those big elephant in the room type questions. Sustainability, waste, purpose, diversity, inclusion and impact. As I said, really big questions. But before I hand over to our wonderful panellists, a little bit about our chair today, Nick. Nick is a domestic bursar and fellow at Robinson College and director of Meet Cambridge. With a career spanning 40 years in the events industry, Nick has extensive knowledge of the sector, formerly through management in hotels and for the past 18 years within the education sector. Over to you, Nick.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Good afternoon, everybody. Lovely to see so many familiar faces and so many new faces as well. And finally, Chris.
First of all, happy birthday. 25 years is a good one.
Events are all about human connection, human creativity, collaboration, and at the heart of a lot of people's businesses. So if we start the question from that premise, I think we then got to start to move the conversation towards what could we do to mitigate any of the negative impacts of events. I think the premise has to be that this is going to be something that exists and we are always going to want to have it as humans and as businesses. I think we've learned that after COVID, that is certainly part of what we all enjoy doing, is connecting with each other. So that is the premise. Then we start to think about, well, what can we do individually to start to manage that? And that's where we can get into a bit more detail, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe we could just ask the audience for a show of hands. Does anyone here use carbon calculators for their events? You see, it's very much, it's a reasonably new thing. There are some out there, you can buy them, or there might be a few free examples online after, that you can find.
Each venue, each event's a different journey, and it's about showing that journey. You know, if you were to go for a green accreditation, it's not about going, we're net zero, it's about where are we now and where can we be in 12 months, where can we be in 5 years. So everyone's different, and it is about just showing that journey and talking about your buyers with that.
Write down all the different things that you do and don't be afraid of it, and then look at the things that you can do something about, short term, medium term, long term. And there's some that we have got some real headwinds, things like carbon for our guests that are coming to the event, but note that down and then you can look at all the different things. Early this week there was a government announcement over at Farnborough, and it was all looking at SAF, which is all about green energy for airlines and things like that. So even the airline industry is a million miles away. Did you know that 4% of the carbon effect from air shows is from fuel? Only 4%.
Fully branded. Just rethink every part of the event, and I think that's a recurring theme now with, it's not just reduce, reuse, recycle, it's rethink, repurpose, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Are you, in the last sort of few months, experiencing levels of activity that are higher than they were pre-pandemic, or are they still less or on a par? Anybody, just hands up. More events. Yeah, I think probably about a third, maybe not quite, maybe more like a quarter. That's interesting.
A very decent sample size, largely concentrated on London, but it's a good bellwether for the country generally. So obviously from a base of nothing in July 21, 2022, peak of September or so, it was shot right up. It was mad because that was a lot of pent-up demand in the business, we all know that. Yeah. And this is specifically conferences and meetings. I know we're a diverse mix as an industry, but specifically conferences and meetings.
Gosh, I'm not quite sure where to start or how bored
briefly, if you
are
would.
of me. Yeah, I'll try and be brief. Brief's not one of my strengths. Do we feel we're successful as an industry? Raise our hands. Think we do a good job?
Oh, nobody.
Oh, gosh. I think
well, I'm going to put my hand up.
Yeah, I think we're a successful industry. The government inherently supports failing industries.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from our panel. Your opportunity now to pose questions to them, those burning issues that you wanted to bring forward. Before you ask your question, if you would just raise your hand so that we know where you are, and somebody will bring you a catch box. I'm told that the catch box is designed to be thrown, so if it comes your way, watch out. Catch. Guys up at the top, we're not going to throw it up there because, well, there's glass and there's computers, there's all sorts of things, and it'll probably hit the wall and fall on somebody's head. So if you want to ask a question from upstairs, if you would just do so loudly, please. Down here. That's a long throw. There we go. It's a long throw.
this
Hi.
working? So I'm Hannah Baker and I coordinate the decarbonisation network here at Cambridge University.
Lovely. An unusual venue or
I had
event?
to sign a non-disclosure, so I can't tell you.
Martin,
I've been to so many things that I can't even repeat. It would be terrible. There would be police raids and everything. There's been terrible things. No, but I think that unusual experience was it's amazing how just one event can change your perception of the entire industry.
Has anyone ever heard of Secret Cinema? Yeah, so years ago I went to one of the first ones that they did of that in London, and the film was Shawshank Redemption. And we arrived and had to put on overalls to immediately transform into a prisoner and locked in a jail cell for 10 minutes with strangers who were all a mixture of actors and a mixture of other participants. And just that feeling of like that they left it long enough just to tip you into uncertainty of like what exactly was happening, and then to be released from that jail cell and then watch this film, it was like a whole other perspective on that story. And it was just that sense of like real purpose, real planning, immersive experience, and it's absolutely brilliant.
I was food, so we put on a purely vegan menu at one of our events and didn't tell anybody, and nobody complained.
Yeah,
which is
excellent.
really good. And my stories get stuck in a lift for a conference for quite a long time. Still friends today. I didn't eat them like alive, don't worry, but they're still friends today. Getting stuck in a conference, in a lift before a conference, it always quite energises you before.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're a fantastic panel.